All right, good afternoon. Thank you all for coming down here. First of all, I want to start off by expressing my heartfelt condolences, along with that of the department and the city, to all of our family, brethren, and those that suffered out in Las Vegas in this horrific attack that took place last night into this morning. It is unfortunate that we are seeing events like this occur more frequently, and with what we know right now, 58 lives lost and over 500 impacted to this point. This is truly a tragedy. And so collectively our hearts go out to the Las Vegas community, and Las Vegas obviously being a destination city, this incident, I am sure, has touched our country from West Coast to East Coast. So our hearts, our thoughts, and our prayers are with those that have suffered such a loss out in Las Vegas. That being said, I know there's a lot of concern that's been expressed here locally based on this being a week leading up to the ACL Festival. And first of all, I want to encourage the community to come out to ACL as you planned. This is a yearly event that we have successfully managed here in Austin. It has been conducted with safety, and it is important that we continue to do those things that we enjoy. Now, as a police department, it is important that we pay attention to all threats, and what we saw happen last night into this morning is something new that we haven't seen before. Someone that appears to have a very well-planned attack on a large gathering like that, contained in a relatively small location. So there are things that we want to talk about as far as safety as we go into ACL. I just left the meeting with all of our partners here at APD, from our special events unit, our downtown area command, our tactical units, going over the plan that we have in place right now for ACL. This is a plan that has been months in the working, and it's a plan similar to one that we have used in the past. However, we can't come in on the day after an event like we just saw happen in Las Vegas and not reconsider our plans and make sure that we are comfortable that we have addressed every threat possible. We have reached out to our partners, both federal and state, and I know at the federal level we will have some participation. And I just recently spoke with DPS actually minutes ago, and they too are volunteering resources to bring in this weekend as well as next weekend to assist with overall security. ACL is usually, if anything else, more of a traffic issue for this city, just getting so many people into the entertainment area safely, getting them in and out, and that is what I expect that it will be this year. However, we are planning to have security assets in place across the board. Again, we're reevaluating the plans that we've used in the past, and we're strengthening them in some areas. But as you can imagine, I'm not going to go into specifics of what you will see or what you will not see. We will have plenty of officers that will be visible, but we will also have plenty that will not be visible, strategically placed, that will only come out if necessary to address any specific incidents. And again, I want to emphasize it is important that people come out and enjoy this event. And we will make this event as safe as possible, partnering with all of our other agencies. There are some specific steps we're taking as well. We regularly work through ARIC, our Regional Intelligence Center, to look for any threats that may exist out in social media or elsewhere. This is something we do, as you know, ahead of all of our major events, and we will do that again as we lead up to ACL. And at this time, there are absolutely no threats that have been made against ACL, nor have we heard any indication that anyone is targeting any large-scale events around the country right now. We will continue to monitor that as we get closer to ACL Festival this weekend. There are things that you can take care of as far as your personal safety, though, for those going down to enjoy ACL. I think it's important, whether it's ACL or whether it's any other large-scale event that you go to, pay attention to your surroundings. We talk about that regularly. Be aware of your surroundings. Know where you would go in the event of an emergency. If you had to get out quickly, know what your avenue of exit is, know where the nearest escape is, and pay attention to that. And as you move about the event, just pay attention to where the exits are. In the event we did have to do an evacuation or a mass egress out of the event, follow the directions of the law enforcement and other safety professionals that are at the event. APD takes control of all security outside of this event, and we will have many officers present for that. And then the ACL Festival themselves hires off-duty Austin police officers to provide security within the event. So we're going to have plenty of security and safety people at this event. So just pay attention to them in the event that we had to do any type of an exit. Another important thing is enjoy yourself, but enjoy yourself within a reason. Do not overindulge in alcohol to where you can't make good decisions. And if you found yourself in a circumstance where you had to get out, you're less capable due to a level of intoxication. We talk about this often, and so it's taking some level of personal responsibility in that area. I would encourage everyone to download the APD app onto your cell phone, and that way, if you see something that needs to be reported, then report it. It is so important in life today and in large-scale events like this that if you see something, say something. If you are at this event and something stands out to you, something just doesn't look right, then report it to us. If you've downloaded the app, it'll make it that much more easy to report it to law enforcement. If you haven't, then make a phone call. Just let us know. We will have officers that can go and check that out and make sure that it is not out of the ordinary and it's not anything else that you need to worry about. I want to remind everybody again, this is an annual event that we have enjoyed in Austin for quite some time now, and we expect it will be no different this year. But I do think it's important in light of what just happened again in Las Vegas last night leading into today, that we get the message out that we want folks to come out, we want you to enjoy yourself. Want to reassure you that we are doing everything we can to make this event as safe as possible based on what we know as potential threats that we've seen to large-scale events around this country and others. And then to take that extra step of personal responsibility, of knowing your surroundings, of knowing where you go in case of an event, and of reporting when you see something that is out of the ordinary, because together we can make this event the safest possible event. So with that, I want to open it up for questions, letting you know that we will continue throughout this week to work on our safety and security plan, updating it as necessary with our federal, our state partners, along with the ACL leadership as well.
Chief, Sophia from KPRC in Houston, you were right. We haven't seen something like this. When it comes to the worry of copycats, are y'all afraid of that? Plus, I know the buildings are kind of far away from Lady Bird Lake, but are we going to be patrolling the hotels, condos, stuff like that as well?
So you always have to be aware of a copycat, and whether it be the incident that occurred in Las Vegas or others. And this is something that we will pay attention to. That is why the security plans are such. That's why we're reevaluating security plans in light of what manifested itself in Las Vegas last night. I will not go into the specifics of what our planning is, but we are paying attention to those areas where we think we could potentially have an issue if someone were so inclined to want to carry something out like that here. So we're aware of those locations would be, and we're taking steps to address those.
Chief, you spoke about a month ago about response times and the shortage of police officers that this department has, how that response time has gone up slightly. What would you say to people who are worried about that? The fact that APD is still short officers, and this situation in Las Vegas clearly took all the manpower that department had.
There will be a large number of officers in a very concentrated area at this festival. Actually, from that perspective, it's going to be the safest part of the city to be in during both weekends, just because of the sheer number of officers that will be present. And again, like I said, DPS just reached out to us as well, offering to supplement us. So I'm not worried that the response time issue is going to impact this event at all, just because so many officers will be present. They'll be on foot, they'll be on bikes, they'll be on ATV vehicles, and they'll be in vehicles. So I'm not concerned that that will be an issue.
Chief, as that said, you mentioned that area, the ACL area, the Silver Park, will probably be the most secure and most safe location in Austin this weekend, next weekend. Manchester, Las Vegas was an outside-in attack. Is that the new dynamic that you're worried about, and how do you plan for that for this weekend and next weekend?
I think you have to worry about both of the dynamics. The security for those entering the festival will be the same as well. There will be screening for all of those who are wanting to go into the event to enjoy the music and enjoy the food and have a good time. And it's not that law enforcement hasn't paid attention to an attack from the outside in the past. This just highlighted the difficulty that it can pose on cities and on events when you do have a layout like that with large buildings, high-profile buildings, or whatever the landscape may be. So that's why we're paying attention not only to things that we've traditionally paid attention to with vehicle ingress, egress, safety at the event, but also the surrounding areas and anything we need to address there for overall safety.
Chief, you have 2 weekends of ACL. Right after that, you have the U.S. Grand Prix. Can you talk a little bit of, I guess, are you concerned about fatigue, and also with U.S. Grand Prix, you don't just have them concentrated in one park, you have them in far southeast Austin, you have them scattered around downtown for the downtown events. Can you talk a little bit about that, and are you looking forward, are there any changes looking on that front too?
So we, as far as fatigue of the officers, we will, these are both 3-day events, and so we're fortunate enough that we're the 11th largest city in the country, and we've got officers to pull into events like this. Again, this is an event that we have successfully policed for years now, and we will pull in the necessary resources, and if we need additional resources, as I stated earlier, we will reach out to our partner agencies. We've already talked with DPS, and we're reaching out to our federal authorities, and if we think the need it goes beyond that, we're fortunate here in Central Texas that we have such a strong relationship with all of our other partner agencies, whether it be Travis County, Williamson County, Round Rock, Pflugerville, Cedar Park. We're fortunate that we work so well with all of them, and the University of Texas. We can pull resources from there, make requests from them if that becomes necessary.
Chief, are you satisfied that your officers can handle this kind of firepower that we saw in Las Vegas and then saw just out front of APD not that long ago with Matt Williams? Are our officers prepared to handle that?
Years ago, the department formed our counter-assault strike team, and this is a group of officers that have received advanced training in responding to active shooter incidents like this. So on top of our SWAT team that has, the highest level of tactical training and the highest level of protective gear and equipment, we supplemented that with a large number of frontline patrol officers that are on the street every day, every night, that have advanced equipment, that have rifles, and that have training. And so they will play a large part in our security footprint this weekend and next as well.
What are people going to see? 75,000 people who walk in there. Are they going to see a much larger police presence? Is it going to feel different to them? And maybe to help make them feel more secure? Or are you trying not to do that?
I think that people will see a lot of what they're used to seeing. People are used to seeing APD's presence on both the outside of the event as well as inside of the event. This is one that we traditionally have a large number of officers at, just given the number of attendees, as many as 70,000 a day attending this event. So I think that people can expect to see what they've seen in years past, and then also as in years past, there's a lot that you will not see that is there, but that only would come out or would be seen if necessary.
But it's going to be a bigger force than we've ever had at ACL.
We're going to be adequately staffed this weekend to handle both the crowds as well as address what are new threats that we have now seen just unveil themselves in Las Vegas.
As far as the ACL, like I was asked a little bit ago, ACL where you have everybody in one park, although it's a big group, big park, versus where you have multiple events across the city for Formula One. I guess, are there changes being planned now? Are the plans being reviewed now for Formula One right after this?
Well, yes, we will review Formula One plans as we get through ACL. So Formula One plans have already been underway. We don't plan these the week ahead of an event. These are plans that go into place months ahead of time. So as we're talking today about ACL, because that's the next event that will be here in Austin, we're also going to look at F1 and see if there are any changes, enhancements, or whatever need to be made to that plan as well.
Quick question for you, because someone who has already reached out during the press conference on Twitter, asking kind of specifically about those hotel rooms, about higher up places. I mean, I know you said that's something they'll look at. I mean, is that part of the patrol?
So yes, with Zilker Park being positioned where it is, there are condos on the north side of the bridge that will potentially have some visibility into the park, not as much as you might think, but our folks have already gone out and looked at the areas. We understand where, if something similar were to be planned, where it would likely be planned from, and it's something we'll pay attention to. But we live in a world now where you cannot protect against every single threat. We've seen that with people getting in vehicles and driving